first time in a long time, but it seems like just yesterday when we were side by side. Beast mode, no one's blocking our way. These other guys tried it, but them man ain't got the skills of Braden and Davie, brazen and raging, bringing you the thrills and spills. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady, DVP, the BDElite. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady, DVP, the BDElite.
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Braden Herrington here with Davie Portman for BDElite. You found us wherever podcast app you're listening to us on right now. And of course, we are live.
Twitch.tv/upNXT podcast. Hello, Twitch room.
Yes. Hello, Twitch room. Hello, friends. Hello, Dynamates. We are hanging out after a nice Revolution hangover.
Yeah,
this is
hangover, but it feels like, I don't know, one of those hair of the dog hangovers where you just do a load of shots and get like right back on it. Like so much fucking happened tonight.
Are they gonna start having like the Dynamites after Revolutions or something? Like it feels like it was part. Yeah, you're on the nose there, because that's exactly what this was. It was like I'm a little wrestled out. It was a long weekend of just watching wrestling, and shout out anyone who came to the Revolution, our Revolution show, obviously out on this free feed and everything. And Revolution was just awesome to watch. And I was already going into this like, okay, like I'm already gassed, guys. Like what else can we do here? And then they're like, hey, William Regal's going to play, I don't know, principal or dad in for these two brothers in a tag team match. We're like, okay, that sounds pretty cool. We want to see Mox and Danielson. And then they announce all these things and we're like, oh boy, okay, we got to keep up. All right, well, that was good. All right, now we can just coast. Now we're just gonna chill. Okay, we're gonna do oh fuck, here's Jeff fucking Hardy.
Let's break up every faction we've had.
Break up every
one night, form new
this
factions.
was a wild episode. Holy shit.
It had like that sort of Raw from Mania feel from like, you know, a decade ago when like they were hot. Like I think great, like a reset of everything, like setting up all the new feuds, moving forwards and things. But my God, yeah, I am burnt out this week. Like we have done a lot. Obviously the Revolution. Obviously my time zone's here. This is like night 3 of being up till like 5 a.m. to watch wrestling, talk about wrestling.
Don't you love it?
But yeah, like we've had some great stuff. There's been a couple of good matches in the New Japan Cup. There was obviously Revolution pay-per-view. We had NXT yesterday. We watched a whole load of Steiner matches for the Patreon, which was great. We talked all about Ukraine today with Dickie Bird in a show we're releasing in a couple of days. And then watching this show, it's just like, oh, geez. Yeah, I'm gonna have a lion tomorrow.
Yeah, take a day off.
Oh boy,
yeah, I mean,
I don't want to hear about wrestling tomorrow. You know?
Yeah, that was definitely. I actually today was good. I didn't have to watch any until Dynamite because we did do that show with Dickie Bird. He's a world champ patron and of course friend of the show, more than friend. But he picked Servant of the People, which is basically this TV show. Which I don't know if you've seen any news articles about this, because I certainly have quite a lot in the past 2 weeks. So Dickie chose this. Great timing. He wanted something to be on topic and topical, and it turned out to be a really good show with us three kind of we put on our big boy pants and we don't talk about fake fighting, and we talk about real fighting and some politics and stuff like that. So it was a completely different show than what you normally hear from us, but I will say it was a hell of a lot of fun. But someone out there is like, oh, I do not want to listen to that. I want my escapism. I want my wrestling. Well, then you can listen to the Steiner Brothers review as well, because that was a lot of fun, talking a lot about their old school Japanese matches in WCW and all that. So just all sorts of different shows out on the Patreon. So many podcasts out there. Go support us. It's only $5. That's all we ask. And we know you'll love us. We know it. You just got to give us that shot. You just got to get extreme. And I mean, that's what's happening tonight. I was pretty excited to dive into tonight's episode, because I feel like this one was a long time coming. I mean, it was not so much like a big surprise with Jeff Hardy showing up for All Elite Wrestling. But again, that was kind of like it's another hangover shocker here where they're like, hey, here's another debut. It's like, what? Oh my God, coming out. But I mean, if you've listened, I've talked about how I just fuck it. Yeah, why not? It's weird because I was like, yo, isn't that theme music like not owned by WWE?
Yeah,
Loaded is this track.
Did see Fightful put out an article earlier today where apparently this was in the works, that this isn't a WWE owned track at all. So they were able to just sweep in and pick up the rights for it. It did feel very weird actually hearing it on this show, I thought, because you'd have thought if they could have had the rights to this, the Hardys would have used this in like TNA and stuff like that and all their other runs they've done. So was very weird hearing Jeff come out to this, but definitely got that reaction. And you saw, like, we're waiting for this to happen, right? And you're just looking in the crowd at the beatdowns happening on Matt, and you're just looking at the crowd, looking at the entrance ray going, is he coming? Is he coming? And then Darby and Dad walk out and they're like, ah! But
Sting walking fine after his spot, by the way. So God bless Sting, because geez, after that spot on Sunday, this dude's walking fine and still laying down fists and stuff. But no, when that music hit, dude, I stood up. I was like, oh my God, it happened. I started doing the whole fucking finger guns. I was like, man, just to see him here, that's so cool. And I am a Hardy Boyz through and through. Definitely one of the reasons, as we talk, I swear we did some recent pay-per-view really reviews recently talking about some Hardy Boyz. They're one of the definite main reasons I like got into wrestling for sure. So I did mark out for seeing the Hardy Boyz here. And I want to see them run back some of the matches. Like I want to see Young Bucks again while they can, because Jeff Hardy talking about how he wanted that Roman story and like angle and match, like the dude was just like, hey, I'm gonna tap out of this soon. I want to like get the best while I can now. And like, hey, why not? If the people want to see it, clearly there's still fans that want to see it. But I am interested in seeing some of the matches, like Hardy Boyz, FTR, Hardy Boyz, all the it's tag team wrestling in this company. So it just kind of makes sense. If this is the last actual hurrah, like is this, that never really happens in wrestling, but is this it for the Hardy Boyz? Then go out together.
I think that's where I'm definitely less excited as you and others. Like I have not enjoyed watching Matt Hardy for the last 2 years in this company. And I can't say I've enjoyed watching Jeff Hardy for the last 2 or 3 years. And I feel like we've had a few of these last hurrahs, but to give like credit to AEW, they are good at working with these, like utilizing these older talents like a Sting and stuff. So sure, there's going to be like the nostalgia run. I personally don't need to see it. I'd rather see like their tag division is absolutely stacked, but it could be fun for a little bit. I just like, if this is going to be three more years of just Matt and Jeff like in angles every single week, like we've had with Matt Hardy, I can't say I'm too enthusiastic about it. But we'll see. Sure, yeah. Hardy's FTR, Hardy's versus Darby and Sting, Bryan Danielson stamping on both of their heads. Cool. Like it could be fun, but I definitely, of all these debuts, it's not one that particularly excites me. But I get that there are still fans out there. And I liked the Hardy Boyz, back in 1999. Like, I've been a fan of them. But it's just, not at this stage.
Look, they're definitely past it. I haven't really enjoyed much of anything from Matt Hardy. I haven't watched enough of Jeff Hardy in whatever run he did have. I knew Sheamus threw piss on him at one point. So I know that happened recently. I loved when they came back at that WrestleMania. Everybody did. It's crazy. It's awesome. But I think if they are eventually going to just want to do one last thing, like, hey, let them do it. They are good at using the old talent here. In fact, I think some people would have rather just Jeff clean house and debut, where you had Sting and Darby first, and then he comes out. It was. I liked it because now instantly in your brain you're thinking of all like, hey, now what, they're going to be cool with Darby, like Jeff Hardy and Darby?
I
like,
think there's the comparisons.
cool.
There have been the comparisons for a long time between Darby and Jeff Hardy, and then I mean they're just face paint friends, right? The 3 face paint friends and Matt. And
he's got to get the face paint.
He's got to get the face paint out.
Yeah, honestly, like, look, I know we're not going to get the crazy matches. Fuck, we might. Who knows? We might, but we're not going to get the caliber of matches maybe we're looking for so far in AEW and tag team. But I think giving them a chance to do that, why not? Fuck, and I'm sure that's definitely now attracting some eyes. But I was a huge Jeff Hardy mark. I went to the Buffalo Armageddon to see him win the title. So, that means he's got to get one more time. Jeff Hardy versus Sammy Guevara in a ladder match or TLC or something needs to happen, because that's just a given.
It'll just be both of them against themselves, won't it? It'll be just both of them jumping through tables, not even touching. They won't even lock up. They'll just, who can hurt themselves more?
But like, honestly, like, I think of a lot of people that aren't wrestling fans, but they know Jeff Hardy, whether it be like almost like hip hop culture, like definitely a lot of people know just because he's like the guy who jumps off ladders and stuff. So, I mean, a lot of like outside people, it will maybe attract to see him, but why not? And the music, man, the music is so good. Like, how do you not get fucking hype when he showed up like that? But yeah, that was the kind of the big news off this episode of Dynamite. But I really like, the Hardy family office, finally it's done. So now it's split, right?
Andrade family office now, I guess.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
The Andrade Appreciation Group, or no, what they call it. Man. Society. Yeah, the Andrade Appreciation Society. They can be ass now moving forward.
Well, let's move forward. Let's actually go through what happened on Dynamite today, because it was a bit of a crazy show that felt like a lot happened. And yeah, we start off Dynamite from Wednesday, March 9th, 2022. And we have Chris Jericho, who comes out. He is in the middle of the ring. He's got a microphone, and he says that some people are saying that last Sunday, his match with Eddie Kingston was his best ever AEW match. And he says that he would even agree to that. He then says that Eddie beat me. And well, I didn't shake his hand, but I should have. And then the crowd chants, shake his hand. He says, well, I think I've made a mistake, and I want to pay my debt to Eddie. So Eddie, come on out here. And this is when Eddie Kingston comes out rocking a pretty familiar shirt, would you say?
No, never seen this before. What?
I don't know. That gear looked like shit.
Honestly, like this.
I'm joking.
This was one of the things I said. I feel burnt out, but this was the first thing. I was like, oh, it was WH's debut on Dynamite, and after this, I was done. This was like seeing, Omega and Danielson open, and then I'm like, all right, I've seen everything I need to see. We got a post wrestling shirt on Dynamite.
Yeah, so Eddie Kingston comes out rocking the four pillars shirt there. So Eddie Kingston showing the love for WH Park and post wrestling. I'm sure a lot of people are buying the shirt, which you guys should go, because it is a pretty cool shirt. And I'm sure a lot of people are telling Eddie Kingston, like, hey, but he made fun of your Misawa gear. So he doesn't even watch Dynamite. No, that was fucking awesome. Yeah. And really shout out Eddie Kingston. And shout out.
And buy from the correct store. I'm seeing lots of bots on there on
fake
Twitter,
ones. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, buy the real shit.
Yeah, get the real one. Shout out WH Park. Well, Eddie Kingston does come out wearing this shirt, and he starts cutting a promo on Chris Jericho, and he's getting a lot of what chants, and then he shuts them down and says, like, no, shut up, we don't do that here, essentially, and basically gets an even bigger reaction, which I'm so over these. I know it's Austin coming back and everything, but
and Jericho's playing up for your baby face here. He's like, when Eddie's saying that, he's like nodding and clapping and then getting them all to chant Eddie with him, like. Being very, very sincere here.
Very friendly, yeah. We see Eddie. He says, "Look, a lot of people. I won't tell this to a lot of people, but after that match, I went into my hotel room by myself and I cried, and it made me feel good. And I hope I did you proud, Jericho." He says, "I didn't need that handshake. I needed to win."
He wasn't saying about Jericho being proud. He was saying he had 4 people contact him that said that they were thinking of taking their own life until they read his article.
Oh, his article,
when he
yeah.
talked about mental health and how he's thought about that, and how afterwards winning that match, he kind of thought about those guys and he hopes he made them proud.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Honestly, it was very sincere, and he goes and starts talking about how he doesn't need the handshake, but he says, "I needed to win, and the handshake was for you." You see, I respected the old Jericho, the guy who was in the Super Jake Cup with Dean Malenko, Eddie Guerrero, and then someone chants Lionheart, and he's like, "Yeah, he was the Lionheart." And Sunday, Chris, you proved to everyone you're still the man, you're still number one. And then they shake hands. They did it. They finally shook hands after not shaking hands. But 2.0 and Daniel Garcia come out down the ramp. They run down there and they start beating up on Eddie Kingston when Jericho starts beating up on Eddie Kingston and Proud and Powerful when they come out as well. So Jericho does this like whole turn here with his baseball bat. So the crowd booing here, Jericho turning on his own Proud and Powerful, turning on Eddie Kingston. When Big Jake from the Inner Circle comes out and he's like, "What are you doing, Chris?" and goes to attack Chris. Chris ducks and Jake like knocks out, I think, Santana, but then it kind of reveals that it was a whole plan altogether, which we kind of would figure. Jake can't leave Jericho. They're too close. They're too chummy.
He'd have nothing else to do.
Yeah. They then get this table, and this was terrifying. They had the table on the outside. On the apron, Jake Hager goes to powerbomb Eddie Kingston off the apron to the table to the outside, but he struggles to lift him up. So a bunch of the other guys are like almost helping him. And then finally, when he gets up there, he powerbombs him, but doesn't throw him far enough so that Eddie's back of his head just goes right through this table. What a nasty, scary looking bump. But damn, they just murdered Eddie Kingston here. They all stand in the ring, meaning Jericho 2.0. Is this Jericho 2.0, Garcia, and Jake Hager?
Jake, yeah. So it's another 5-person faction here.
And he says the Inner Circle's dead, but this is now the Jericho Appreciation Society. That's entertainment. What the fuck? What kind of a name is that? They literally had Inner Circle 2.0 right there in the fucking corner pocket, and they went completely left field there. But wow. So Jericho swapped out a few people for his new gang. Yeah,
and I think with the line, "and that's entertainment," I think he's going off. He's been playing, like in this feud with Eddie, the sports entertainer. He's been playing like Jericho, like WWE Jericho. I'm the sports entertainment guy. So I almost feel that, I don't know if the name is kind of like the whole GFY thing, deliberately a little bit shit to kind of play into that sports entertainment thing. You've got 2.0 there who are very much like, whereas Santana and Ortiz feel like very like, real people. 2.0 are quite cartoonish as well, but just giving them a bit of an edge. I mean, the Inner Circle worked, didn't it? Jericho elevated a lot of the guys around him, and I think it's a shame we're not going to see Garcia joining like the Mox Danielson Regal thing.
Yeah.
But I think the Inner Circle needed an official end. Hager is kind of that loose piece, so it makes sense for him to stay. And I thought the angle was done well. I thought Jericho played it very sincerely leading up to. And I think, he probably meant a lot of the things he said. I know listening to him in podcasts and things, he said the lines he said on TV. I didn't know who Eddie Kingston was until he came into AEW. So I think there was genuine the performer Chris Jericho being sincere with the stuff he said to Eddie at the beginning, and then switched it on to like do the swerve there. But I thought this worked for me. That table bump was nuts. It was like Kingston had watched Ricky Starks' bump on the ladder at Revolution, because he just took this head first.
Look, I love the promo from Jericho. I love the promo from Kingston. I love that whole spot. I even like the beatdown. The beatdown was disgusting with that spot, but the name is just so bad.
It's terrible.
It's the worst. I tried to find one of my favorite wrestling shirts is that Inner Circle Guns N' Roses one. I just didn't know where it was, but that's I'm sure they'll still sell it, but he'll do a new one with the chair. That's the worst name. Literally Inner Circle 2.0 would have worked better.
Or Y2.0, like, the old Y2AJ shirt, but like Y2.0.
Oh my God.
Y2J.
Jericho Appreciation Society.
Do you see Santana and Ortiz and Eddie getting kind of two more members to help them out? Like, could this be where we're going for Blood and Guts later in the year with these two factions, or do you see this more short term?
I mean, I guess Jericho's faction needs a faction to face. So, I mean, why not? You would figure Eddie hangs out with Mox, but then does he bring Proud and Powerful, Well,
you could do Mox, Danielson, Eddie, Proud and Powerful against these guys.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, both Danielson and Mox have had beef with 2.0 and Garcia, haven't they?
Yeah, I guess so. I am a little like, hey, look, let's see where it goes. But I think the name is pretty silly. But I guess that's a theme in wrestling lately, or just always. But yeah, I'm a little bummed Garcia is not like a on his own, or like in that Regal camp there, or whatever that is going to be, or maybe that's the eventual storyline where they steal him or something, or I don't know. But yeah, I love the angle. I loved everything. I did genuinely laugh when he said Jericho Appreciation, and then That's Entertainment is what is on the giant light up Sam the Record Man sign in Dundas Square in Toronto, and it's also RJ City's catchphrase. So I'm sure he's not too happy that Jericho now uses it. And That's Entertainment. We go to our next segment, which is the AEW World Title match. Yeah, there's already another Hangman defense, and it's happening right now because apparently, according to the rankings, Dante Martin is the number one contender. I don't look at these rankings, but
really? he's 7-1 in singles matches in 2022. So he's ranked second, but I guess Scorpio Sky's ranked first, but is going for the TNT title. So I guess that makes him number one contender.
Well, he's going to face Hangman
and Hangman's also a nice lad, isn't he? He's like, come on, I'll give you a shot.
All right, I'll give you a shot. Hangman rocking his rainbow gear again, looking fly. And then Dante and him go back and forth, but Dante, of course, a lot of high flying and evading a lot of Hangman's move. Eventually hits like flying crossbody, and he goes to the outside, which allows Hangman to hit a pass like the Pescata crossbody to him to the outside as they go to picture in picture. When we come back, there's Dante keeps trying to brawl. There's lots of clotheslines back and forth, knocking each other down. Dante runs the ropes when we come back, pops up into the air, but gets caught into the Death Valley driver for a kick out. He eventually hits a series of kicks, and then this like flying, almost top rope, like John Woo drop kick to Hangman, sending him crashing for a near fall. There's a cool finish sequence here when he goes to hit, I think it's Hangman goes to hit him on the outside. He counters that. Then Hangman counters that counter. And Dante goes up on the top rope while Hangman's on the outside. And then he goes to do a flip, but Hangman basically makes him backflip all the way back into the ring, which now he's standing in the middle of the ring. Hangman's on the apron, does the flip over, buckshot lariat. This guy went twisting inside out, and Hangman picks up the win.
Yeah. Great finish. Kind of reminded me of that, like sort of the Ospreay Hiromu thing, when it was all like back and forth on the outside with the German flipping over, and and then the like Sasuke special. It kind of reminded me like that.
Yeah.
But ending with the buckshot. I do like how I think it was you that brought this up on the Revolution show, how the buckshot lariat could be like quite a contrived move to try and set it up, but the way Hangman manages to find himself in that position to hit it all the time, it's not like he's waiting for it ever. It was pretty cool finish there. The match itself, it wasn't too long. There was so obviously Dante Martin's pretty impressive, but no one's buying really that Dante Martin is winning the title here. So stakes weren't really there, but yeah.
You say that, but Dolph Ziggler is NXT champion.
Yeah, well, Dolph Ziggler's not Dante Martin, is he?
I'm just saying, upsets can happen. They can happen in wrestling. No, yeah. Anything can happen in wrestling.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, great finish.
Yeah, the cool sequence there was pretty nice. But Hangman grabs a microphone afterwards, and he says, "Dante, come here for a second." And he says, "You've had a tough year, but you made it, and you've proven yourself." And he just bigs up Dante as being this, like, what a year he's had with his brother being injured, and now he's back and like a hot young like prospect and this hot young star. When Adam Cole interrupts them and says, "Shut up. Stop talking. You beat me. It was a fluke," and says, "How about we have another match next week in a 6-man tag team match?" And he says, "You pick 2 people and I'll pick my 2 friends." And he kind of hints like, "And they're my 2 friends and you don't want to face them because they used to be your friends too." Or he kind of teases the fact that it's the Young Bucks. So, which sets up a 6-man tag. But yeah, I liked Hangman kind of, there's still some boos for Hangman, but mostly especially when he gets Dante over, the crowd was definitely back on his side.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll talk about that 6-man tag a bit later, but next is the Danielson Moxley duo with William Regal. And I mean, here is a visual I just marked out for again here on the show. We didn't even mention this here. Bryan Danielson makes his entrance with William Regal walking behind him. Just bravo. I was like, wow, could have brought a tear to my eye. And boy, I wasn't ready for what was going to come. So Mox then comes out, and it's the team of Danielson and Moxley versus the Workhorsemen, meaning JD Drake and Anthony Henry.
Yes.
We've seen this guy in
NXT. He was we saw
Zane
this guy
something?
in Evolve, and then he was in NXT briefly. I'm trying to remember his Ari Sterling, was he there? I think he was Ari Sterling, but didn't last too long. But yeah, him and JD Drake have been like tag champions together in indie promotions.
Asher Hale.
Okay, that's right. They had that feud in Evolve as we were kind of covering those shows. He's got a real sort of like MMA style. He's always impressed when I've seen him. So kind of cool to see him on Dynamite here.
And JD Drake not kind of repping the wingmen. So he's kind of on his own. Maybe he's broken away from these guys. But yeah, so these two going up against these killers of Danielson and Mox. Danielson is in there. He's hitting the series of yes kicks to JD Drake, just killing him with it. We get "Thank you, Regal" chants, I guess, because he brought these boys together. Danielson locks in a surfboard on Henry here as there's then, they lock him in a surfboard, and then they do like a double team with like strikes while the guy's in it. Mox goes to do a dive, and he kind of eats shit almost, but like makes it work and just starts punching the guy. I mean, when in doubt, just do that. And it works with his style, I guess, but it was kind of funny. In the ring, after that spot to take out Henry, we get the Busaiku knee to JD Drake, and then the paradigm shift on the outside. And then Danielson locks in the label lock and gets the submission victory here. But again, kind of a quick match, and obviously super over with the crowd. I loved seeing this, but I was kind of like, man, I know JD Drake, and I've seen enough of that Asher Hale, Anthony Henry guy to kind of like, I know there's probably a lit match in there, but I get that you wanted to get these two over as your top guys, but still, it was awesome.
Yeah, it's one of those things. If it was like at an indie show, I think it would have been an absolute killer. But realistically, here, this is the first match Danielson and Moxley together. I don't know if JD Drake has won a single match in AEW.
Never.
And Anthony
Henry,
Anthony Henry's not signed by them as far as I'm aware. So this was the match you were going to get. But I'm with you. I know there's probably a really good match between these four here, but it kind of wasn't the intent of this.
Yeah, and they looked awesome. I mean, after the match is kind of, I guess, the real story, where now both guys are in the middle of the ring. Tony Schiavone's in the ring, and William Regal gets in the ring, and Tony hands off the mic, and I swear he says, "Your Lordship."
Yes,
Mr. Regal. So he hands him the ring. Regal gets on the microphone and says, "Wow, Tony Schiavone, I met you 29 years ago, and time is just flying by. I was here on TBS a long, long time ago, and now I'm 53. I've lived a hard life and I've battled." And he then goes, "Tony, you really helped me. You were the first person to really help me when I came to America." And he gets a little emotional and starts kind of crying and choked up here. And Tony's like, "Well, I love you, man. You're a real one when Tony Schiavone calls you man."
Man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
That was a great move, man. It is take a shot every time Tony says man.
He literally shows up. I watched some of BTE this week, and he shows up and he's literally like, "Yeah, man." Like, he says it even when he's not saying it. Like, "Yeah, man."
He's got his earrings and everything. Yeah.
William
Regal insults
Regal.
his suit though. He's like, "Hey, you need a better tailor."
You piece of shit. So William Regal says that, he's led a hard life and many battles in the ring and battles with myself. He says that I was no longer required in my old job. Boo. But he says after that, he totally checked out of the industry completely. When someone told me Bryan Danielson mentioned me a few times, and I was always brought up with the mention of Danielson because he always mentioned me. So then people and new generations of fans would know who I was. So I always wanted to be like Danielson. And then he says, "Don't worry, I'll talk about Mox in a second." But then says, "Danielson, you were what I wanted to be. I wanted to be the perfect wrestler, but I couldn't be. But Danielson is the perfect wrestler." And then looks at Mox and says, "Mox, yeah, you're cool too, man." You're all right too. But back to Danielson. No.
Yeah, it was like I've known Danielson for 20 odd years, and we would stay. He'd come and be the last one training, and we'd stay after midnight, and he'd ask me questions. And I mean, if I didn't have my problems, I could have been the wrestler that Bryan Danielson is. And Moxley, I've known you 11 years, and you're sadistic, man.
You're fucked up.
You're fucked up.
But then he's like, "But you did something that I admired. I heard that you two were fighting." And I thought, well, that would be a good time to witness some All Elite wrestling, because it caught his eye that these two would be fighting, because you were fighting. You were men. You did it the right way. And now you've come together, and then they kind of like step closer. It's almost like a unit here now. And Regal says it's time for anyone who wants to challenge these two going forward, because they are the top in this industry. Step up and get stepped on, says William Regal. So now Regal is going to manage Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley. What is going on? Take all my money, please.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, we all know it's really well documented, Bryan's history with Regal, but as far as I'm aware, apart from that, what was it, Saturday Morning Slam or whatever, where they had a match and Regal came out to his real match. Exactly. Apart from that, I'm not really aware of much interaction of them together on screen. So actually having them paired up, as you said, just the visual of Regal walking out with Bryan was awesome. So like just kind of furthering what happened at the pay-per-view, but I really like this. And Regal is such a great talker. He's so natural.
I mean, if we get these guys creating their own camp and they get other dudes as well, like obviously maybe not Garcia, but all these other wrestlers, Lee Moriarty, they've also mentioned as well, but just being a tag team. I mean, instantly they could be champions or feud with other teams. We mentioned maybe Eddie Kingston will get help from these guys down the line, but I wouldn't mind seeing them like even be champions and just killing people, but having some good matches as well. And obviously, Young Bucks would be kind of a big match. FTR versus these guys sound great. Yeah. There's so Hardy Boyz. No, there's so many different ones that we could go. But yeah, I really loved it. Probably one of my favorite segments this year, just because I've watched William Regal on NXT for quite a long time, too goddamn long. I mean, we do What's Next, and we have a thing on the show called Regalisms, like every week. So like, we've watched a lot of this guy. We know, like, we feel like we know a lot about him and his iguanas and all that shit. So it was so cool seeing him and Danielson in the same segment with Mox there. And Mox helped too. No, Mox. They're gonna be eventually, like, they're gonna feud again, like way past, like, down the line, and then it'll be great again.
But first, together, they need to rupture some custard.
There you go. Rupture the custard. Yeah, exactly. They're gonna kick people's heads in so bad that they won't be no oil paint.
No oil paint.
Again, you don't know the Regalisms unless you listen to What's Next. But shout out William Regal. We go to the Dark Order backstage. They're being interviewed and they're asked about the kind of dissension with Hangman when Hangman shows up, and they're like, "Oh," and Hangman says, "Hey, I hope you don't mind that I got a tag team match next week." And the Dark Order say, "Hey, what team are you gonna pick? You know, are you gonna switch it up? Could it be Alan Angels and is it Anna Jay? Yeah, we get Alan Angels with his tie-dye shirt and his dangly earring.
Oh yeah,
which is great.
He's trying things, Braden.
Yeah.
At least he's trying.
Love it. I love it. No, I love it. I think he's finally found it. And
keep trying, Alan.
The danglies is such a wrestling thing, though. So, like, dude, I would if I could. So rock it if you can. But he has to let them know that he's actually not picked them as a team, as he actually ran into Jurassic Express in the hallway, and they still want some beef with the Bucks. So actually he's going to team with them. And then the Dark Order are actually like, "Oh, actually we didn't think it was we have stuff to do anyways." And they all make up excuses about how they didn't actually think it was going to be them in the match. But
yeah, Alex Reynolds definitely. I think Alex Reynolds was the one Hangman shoved away during the title match, and he definitely seemed more pissed than the other guys were. The others seemed more like, "Oh man, a bit disappointed," but Reynolds seemed, even when Hangman was apologizing earlier, didn't quite seem on board with it. So perhaps dissension here. Does it lead to another debut? Is that where we get Bray Wyatt take these guys?
Fuck. Yeah, I guess. I mean,
why? They got to debut someone next week, don't they?
Yeah, that's true. Every week you can't have a show without a debut. So I don't know. We've been saying that for a while, that like it would make sense with the whole Brody connection and stuff. Like, why not? I don't see the point of really building any tension between Dark Order and Hangman, because it's not like there's going to be a member of Dark Order that is going to have a big feud with Hangman for the title. So I don't really see what the benefit is in splitting them off, unless it is to maybe either bring someone in or turn Hangman, which I can't really see you doing. Otherwise, I can't say I'm really into the inner feuding with the Dark Order, because I think we've seen it already. You know, Hangman kind of leaving them for a bit to go and find himself, and so I feel we're maybe retreading, unless there's going to be another wrinkle added to this. Hangman is just the most relatable character in wrestling. I mean, because he's not only the anxious millennial cowboy, but he just has issues with like locking it down. He's just got it's getting too close, you know. He just doesn't like it. So maybe that's the story here. But so now I don't know, will he have a partners next week? But we get the next match, which was announced that because Hangman's title match was so short, this match is happening, which is now Pac versus Yuta Wheeler, which is kind of like WCW used to do.
Wheeler Yuta.
What did I say? Wheeler? Yuta Wheeler.
Yeah.
Wheeler Yuta.
No, I like it. I think it makes sense. If you're announcing 60-minute time limits to matches and you've got a 2-hour show, like I think it makes sense to have these kind of backup things. I would have maybe liked to have seen, Swerve tonight rather than on Rampage. Right. I think you could have used that instead. It seemed a bit like, why are these two fighting? Because they're two. I know Pac's a bastard, but he's pretty much a babyface now, as is best friend. So it felt a little weird, but I like the attention to detail and being like, hey, we've got extra time, so we put this match together. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Wheeler is kind of the enhancement talent, though. He's usually put in these slots. I mean, I'm thinking of that time Moxley murdered him, and then again, so it happens a lot. But when they come to this match, I mean, William Regal talked for a while. It wasn't quite Mr. T at the Hall of Fame, but it was like it felt like it went a little long. That this match, as soon as it started, they're like, and we'll be right back after this picture-in-picture. It's like, oh, okay, geez. When they come back, the guys are throwing each other around on the outside. There's Pac hitting a suplex, and then almost like a brainbuster. They get back in. Wheeler gets some strikes in, but Pac hits his strikes, like the kicks and stuff. Wheeler counters a move and hits an overhead release German suplex, kind of like Kurt Angle used to do. Pac selling it great, but Pac kicks out and then hits one of his own German suplexes, but it's the bridging one for a 2 count. There's then a brainbuster and then a superplex, which looked pretty cool. It's like they almost like slipped when they fell. And then the Rings of Saturn, Pac beats Wheeler. Yuta Wheeler
Yuta. Yeah.
Dickie Bird in the Twitch chat says Utah Jazz, which I've never. Wheeler Utah Jazz. Okay, now I know. Okay, not Utah Wheeler Jazz. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, this felt like a match that Tony Khan just put together because the World Championship didn't go too long. It was very much just slotted there. I mean, both guys are good wrestlers. I can't say it really held my interest much at all. I did think Yuta did a nice... His German, he did like a roll through the ropes into it, which I thought looked pretty nice. But yeah, not much to really say about it.
It was just kind of there.
And just so many dorks on the outside of the ring for this.
We didn't even talk about that. You look on the
outside and you've got Penta in his Penta Oscuro gimmick, which really isn't working for... Like, this isn't Penta Dark from Lucha Underground. This is Penta lost his Joker outfit, so he's just got his old black one and found a shovel with his mate from QVC who's dressed up as a vampire for some reason, Danhausen, Orange Cassidy, and when Chucky T's the most normal looking dude on the outside of the ring, it's just you looking like, what am I watching right now?
Oh, yeah, I did happen to just I was watching this match and I wasn't super into it, but hey, I do like both guys, but it was just a quick match. But I'm watching it kind of fists resting on my head, and then I just slowly my eyes pan and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Is that a vampire? No, it's okay, that's Alex dressed as Death. And then I looked at Penta. Yeah, everyone just looked weird.
I almost felt it was a missed opportunity when you've got all these weirdos on the outside. You could have done something with Danhausen cursing Alex, because they both just look fucking ridiculous.
What do you think JR thought about this segment?
It just felt like that. It just felt like they were all stood there like William Regal in that last match, just stood there trying to look all normal, but they all look like they're in costume. Oh yeah,
they are in costume.
Well, they are in costume. But do you know what I mean? It's not like
the dude cursing people. I don't know.
It's not like they're all being doing creepy weird shit on the outside. They're just stood there lined up with white face paint on and shovels and hoods and curses.
Imagine someone was channel flipping and just found that and they didn't know what the fuck was going on. They're like, what the fuck's this guy doing? This face paint?
JR said something about oh yeah, Danhausen. Well, people seem to be into him.
Code for I hate it.
That's what he said. He couldn't hide it anymore. And then we go into the next segment, and then he's like, "Oh, the Cutler Cam, whatever the fuck that is." Just grumpy old JR.
Yeah. Wow. Just a weird.
I'm literally, my next note is JR hates everything.
Well, we go from that. We go from Danhausen and those characters. We go to Adam Cole backstage with the Young Bucks and Red Dragon, and Adam Cole's. The Bucks are kind of blaming Red Dragon for them not winning last Sunday, and the Red Dragon are like, "No, it was not our fault. It was your fault." And they start bickering when Cole says, "Come on, stop," because next week I'm gonna team with two of my best friends. And they live in your head rent-free, Hangman. And they know how to throw a party. And the Bucks say, yo, Adam, we told you. Like, sorry, we won't fight Hangman. Sorry, we just won't do it. And Cole says, what? Whoa, I wasn't going to pick you anyways. I was picking Red Dragon. And then they walk off, and the Bucks walk off.
Yeah, I liked it because in the promo earlier, Cole was definitely alluding to the Bucks. He was like, these young guys who are the best tag teams in the world. Like, everything he was saying sounded more like he was talking about the Bucks. So yeah, still he's in a bit of a love triangle with these two teams. But I do like that the Bucks refuse to have anything to do with Hangman since that Kenny match.
Yeah, because they'll get back together and be boys.
Maybe
for sure.
Maybe
yeah, for sure. I do think it makes Kyle and Fish look like geeks. Because after that, they're like, "Oh, he was talking about us. Oh, okay, yeah, cool." Because they were like they're not over the fact that they can't see that they're being used still, kind of thing. Like, you know how that was Fish's thing, and then Kyle came in, and then that kind of stopped.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of just he's doing it to both of them, which is like, no, they should still kind of be the more cohesive unit, because then you could do, Undisputed Era. Sorry, I'm going to call it the three of them versus the Bucks and Hangman. And then, Hangman eventually can get taken out. And that's when you bring in babyface Kenny and you do that match now. And I mean, that's like a whole bit of a feud to go forward with the two teams. But next week, I would assume that because the Dark Order didn't like Hangman kind of shading him or forgetting about him, I think Hangman's going to, since he praised Dante, I think he's going to get Top Flight to go up against Cole and Red Dragon.
Well, no, he said he's got Jurassic Express.
Yeah, but won't he change it? Can he change his mind since they're not facing the Bucks anyways, or do you think he's still just going to have them? I'm with you.
I don't know. AEW normally don't really do the switches.
Yeah.
I thought earlier in the night it was going to be Top Flight from like the little promo after. But no, maybe it's more to set up Jurassic Express's next feud. And that's what this dissension's about. It's more to have, like, whether it be Silver and Reynolds or Uno and Grayson, maybe be Jurassic Express's next challengers. With Dark Order having a bit more of an edge because they're jealous. Maybe that's the way you go.
Yeah, that could work. Yeah, why not? Yeah, I totally forgot that he said that, because it made sense.
Or Alan and Anna Jay, maybe them. Fuck it.
I know. I love how the John Silver Anna Jay meme has made it through all aspects of the internet now. Like, they're like officially a meme. Like, it's him talking to her where she's like shocked, like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm talking about?
It's recreating the other meme. That's the guy it's recreating to the girl in the club, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so good. I've seen it like in the deep crevices of every meme thing I've been.
I don't need to know about the deep crevices of the internet you're looking at.
Where I keep seeing John Silver pop up. We go to FTR backstage, and they're there with Tully, and they're talking about how they lost both the Battle Royals, and Tully kind of says, yeah, you lost them. FTR, Dax the Axe starts talking about his family and how he's doing this for his family. When Tully kind of gets a little heated here and says, like, yo, yeah, you gotta work. He kind of sounded like he was rambling to me. And then the Dax the Axe is like, I keep calling him Dax the Axe. Dax is like, hey, like, this is our family, and kind of gets a little aggressive with him when Cash Wheeler, fuck's sake, Cash separates them. You never forget their old names. Cash separates them and says, you know what? This is about family, and you're not really family, are you? So you know what, Tully? You're fired. That's right. FTR fire Tully Blanchard.
This seemed really left field.
And they cut to the next thing right away without even Tully leaving the scene. It was like so like out of nowhere.
I mean, I wonder if Tully is just taking a break. So it's because this seemed very sudden. It's not like that Tully and FTR have shown much tension up until now. I didn't get why they were going on about family so much. Like, what do you mean
these men have families, by God?
Yeah, but like, what's that got to do with tag team wrestling? Like, I don't know. Like, it seemed very quite random here, and all I wonder is maybe Tully is just leaving for a bit, like going and taking a break from being on the road or something. So that's why they're just writing him out all of a sudden. Otherwise, it felt like, do you remember when AOP moved to the main roster and then Paul Ellering was with them, and then they were like, nah, Paul, we're not with you anymore, and just sent him away. And everyone was like, oh, I don't think maybe Paul Ellering doesn't want to travel. And then Paul Ellering went, no, I kind of want to still be doing it. It just felt very sudden like that. Odd.
Yeah, kind of weird, because I mean the pairing was fine. I mean, look, they're definitely, they were fine without Tully before, and maybe they just want to get away from that. I don't know. Maybe they have some plans of what they're going to do, but yeah, I would assume we get FTR versus Jurassic Express down the line. Like we mentioned, Bryan and Mox, they could face FTR. That would be great. I know. Would you assume the Supercard of Honor show is FTR Briscoes?
I would think so. Yeah.
I think it's finally going to happen, and I mean, if Tony owns them now, so like, why not?
Do you think they're maybe eliminating Tully? They're trying to kind of, maybe not baby faces, but move them into a bit more of a tween role where you're going to see them like cheating a bit less. And because here, like the way Dax was talking sounded like
true,
like, passionate. Oh, I'm doing this for my kids. I'm doing it for my family, all that.
But Tully would babyface you if Tully was your babyface manager too, like Arn and Cody, right?
Yeah.
Like,
true.
So
yeah, just felt this didn't really like work for me. It felt very odd.
It felt weird, and I love these guys, but it did feel weird. Well, speaking of stables breaking up and families,
one family to another, yeah.
Yeah, one family is left broken, and will another have the same fate? The Andrade Hardy family office meeting. They're all in the ring, sort of, which means Private Party, Butcher and the Blade. Which Butcher and the Blade easily best fit in the game of wrestling. I mean, Blade's rocking like this like black face mask with like, what was it, like a hoodie on and like all black, and then like the white shoes or something. And then, I mean, Butcher is just a beast of a man with like the hair. He looks like he's like related to some motorcycle gangs or just an 80s bad guy or something. And then we have, Andrade and his lawyer, Jose.
The jacked dude.
Yeah, jacked Jose, right? Yeah, and Matt Hardy. They're all in the ring. It should it be noted that Matt Hardy is not wearing a suit jacket?
Yeah, he's in jeans and a shirt and sneakers.
Did anyone else notice that? No one gave a fuck except Andrade, who's like, "Yo, why the fuck aren't you wearing a suit? This is Andrade Hardy family office meeting." And then everyone's kind of like, oh, I guess he's not wearing a suit, but he's wearing a nice, like, he's wearing a collared shirt. Matt Hardy says, look, I've worn suits a lot time on and off, and I know that every time I wear one of those, I turn into an asshole like you two. Meaning every time he wears a suit, he's the heel. So they're going to have a big vote here to see if they're going to kick out Matt Hardy. So they all going to have to put their thumbs up or thumbs down to vote Matt Hardy out or in. And Matt says, well, at least I got my boys' Private Party because I know they won't vote me out. So they put their thumbs up. And then he looks over at Andrade and Jose, who put their thumbs down. And then when Matt Hardy's talking to Andrade, Private Party slowly turn their thumbs down instead of being up. And Andrade says, in this business, always wash your back. He did say wash, but watch your back. And that's when Matt realizes Private Party have put their hands down. And that's when the Butcher and the Blade also attack Matt Hardy. All of them attack Matt Hardy, and they're beating them down when Sting and Darby Allin's music hits, and they come down to the ring and they start beating these guys up. But still, there's the numbers game, the numbers advantage when the music hits. It's loaded. It's the Jeff Hardy. It's the Hardy Boyz theme song playing. That's it. Do the fucking things, the fucking finger guns. I was hyped. I stood up, like started just doing it. I was.
So did Jeff. He's like, my brother's being murdered here, but gotta get the dance in.
What's going on down there?
Gotta get it in.
He runs down. He cleans house. He hits the side Russian leg sweep. He then hits he hits a few other moves here, and then eventually hits the twist of fate for Matt Hardy, then the Swanton bomb, sending the crowd home happy. And Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, the Hardy Boyz hug it out live on Dynamite. What a moment. Yeah. Great hugs. Love hugs in wrestling.
We all knew where it was going, but cool to see them together again, I guess. We kind of talked about it all at the beginning, but
yeah, we definitely talked about it. And I've definitely loved seeing the brotherly love. If they are gonna do one last run, why not do it? I want to see that Bucks match again.
And we've set up already for like a tag and an 8-man, you know? And you could get a 10-man with Andrade as well, but like Private Party versus the Hardy Boyz. You got Hardy Boyz, Darby and Sting against Butcher, Blade and Private Party. If they can find a fifth guy, and have Punk with him. He needs to apologize to Jeff, doesn't he?
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hold on. There's the whole other, that's what I mean. Like, there's so many other, like, I like Jeff Hardy as a single star too. And I think there's that whole thing where Punk, I think he's got to. I think it's like a past.
He did bring it up the other week, didn't he?
What, Jeff? Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Punk mentioning that. So, yeah,
but honestly, he's kind of boys with Sting and Darby, so that could be.
I want to see them hug it out.
A 10-man with Andrade and stuff.
Fuck yes, dude. See what I mean?
And you could do like
crazy shit.
Punk did the Sting makeup, didn't he? You could have him now because he famously like came out dressed as Jeff Hardy. After he left. He can do it again, but this time, as a babyface.
Oh, it'd be so good. I would lose it.
I think that would be a great callback.
Fuck yeah. Oh man, that'd be wild. Book it. Fucking book it. Let Sting jump off. Yo, Sting's going to jump off shit with Jeff Hardy. And they have history. So much history. The infamous history. Like, it's all coming. TNA is just alive and well in AEW with Sting and Jeff Hardy hanging around. No, I mean, we got to get Jeff Hardy versus Darby Allin in a death match or something. Like a crazy ladder TLC who can do the craziest shit match. That's obviously got to happen at one point as well. But yeah, I am super stoked about this, and I can't. I want to see CM Punk and him do a hug. It's got to be like, I saw someone post a meme where it's like Brett and Sean hugging it out on Raw all those years later. It's got to be like that with Punk and Jeff. But it was with Matt and Jeff, and it was a great moment. We then go to Shane Swerve Strickland backstage with Tony Schiavone, who is just working tonight. He is then interrupted. I don't know what the whole shtick is with new people being interrupted, or just people in general always being interrupted in AEW. But Tony Nese interrupts Swerve here, which is like, wow, we've seen a bit of this because of their history in NXT and 205 Live. And they say they mention that Swerve has this match, and it's going to be against Tony, and they're going to revisit their Friday nights all over again. And Swerve says, I'll bless you again like I used to. So Swerve versus Nese, 205 Live Rampage this Friday.
Yeah, I'd like to check it out. I wonder if we're talking about that on our Best Match Ever 205.
Yes.
That match will be coming up. But yeah, I liked Swerve's shirt he was wearing. It looked nice. I'm excited to see where like Swerve's positioned in AEW. I personally would have liked him to have had a match on this show, maybe then rather than one of the others that was on there, just because I do kind of see Rampage as the B show, being late on a Friday night. I think if you want a guy to kind of make a bit of an impact, I think it should be on Dynamite. But yeah, I'll watch the match for sure.
We go to our next segment, which is Wardlow. This is War. He comes out looking fly. He has a microphone since he's hot off his big win from the Face of the Revolution ladder match. I'm happy he didn't bring out the giant cock ring. So the giant Sonic the Hedgehog coin thing. He says that he still technically works for MJF, but he worked for trash. He says the only reason I worked for MJF is, well, back in the day, I grew up poor. I had to watch my mother, who had a heart of gold, struggle to raise myself and my sister. And he knew that if he wanted to fulfill his dream of being a pro wrestler, that it could be his out and he could help his family. He mentioned winning the match last week as well and kind of getting the opportunity for the TNT title. And he says that Max was the way of getting in the door. He paid me, and he paid me a lot, and he changed my life. And I'm always thankful of that. But now I am free. And there's lots of Wardlow chants. And then he says, Max, I hope you're as intelligent as you claim to be. So release me from this bullshit contract. And he wants to be a free man. But either way, he will be facing the winner of the TNT title match tonight, next week, on the St. Patrick's Day Slam.
And he kind of made it seem like if he became champion, that would get him a contract, is kind of what I assumed from it. I don't know why it's so hard for this dude to get signed by AEW, because literally everyone else has been signed by this company. I can't
wait for that graphic.
I know. And Wardlow's like, yo,
no,
I've been
too many
showing
new people.
Up every
Sorry,
too many debuts.
Sorry, no room.
Yeah.
We needed Jeff Hardy. Sorry.
No, I thought Wardlow sounded good here. I think the crowd, they've done a great job building this turn, and I think he does have a real natural charisma and a bit of a swag about him as well. So I think it was the right move having him win this thing. And I mean, obviously skipping to the end, there's a title change, and I have a feeling that title change isn't going to last too long. Yeah, because I think you strap the belt on this guy next week. Yeah,
or MJF costs him the title.
Perhaps, that's an option as well.
But yeah, because he's probably pretty mad at him. I could see, or that's the way to get the title on MJF as well.
The TNT.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though I do think he could be world heavyweight champion.
World champion picture kind of guy, but could be.
Yeah. I thought Wardlow sounded good too. He looks the part. He gets super over. The story's been writing itself, but yeah, it's almost WWE-esque because it's like, oh, I work for Max. Actually, it's like Tony should come out and be like Triple H and be like, no, you get the contract now. You're signed. You win. You're over. Raise his hand.
I mean, you've got Regal there. Regal can do that now for Tony.
Yeah. Wardlow. Not War Games, but Regal saying Wardlow. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to get Regal saying blood and guts, right?
We've got to, yeah.
It's not the same, though. That's why he's going to be Wardlow.
Blood and guts. Yeah.
Blood and guts. Yeah, sure. Yeah, it'll be great. They'll get it over.
Unless you get rid of the and it's just blood guts.
Blood guts. Blood guts.
Yeah.
That does work.
Cool,
yeah,
actually.
It does work. Yeah, it sounds pretty lit. Yeah, that's all right. Put that on a t-shirt.
We
go to Keith. We go to our next segment, and it's Keith Lee, who, guess what? Oh my God, he's interrupted. This guy's gimmick is he gets interrupted. Fuck's sake. QT Marshall, who has no fucking business whatsoever interrupting him after I don't know what's going on. Keith Lee says, I don't want any part of you. QT says, I helped train Hook. I'm pretty good. So, we got your back. The factory's got your back, team with us. And Keith Lee says, sorry, but no thanks. And leaves. So QT's a little upset and says, you'll pay for this. Literally just like that. I laughed so loud. This is so bad. I love my QT, but oh my God.
Yeah, we all have a soft spot for QT.
We all do. He's a QT.
Yeah, this. I mean, I feel I'm saying this every week. They're dropping the ball with Keith Lee here, I think. Yeah. To start with, just his presentation. He's stood back there in tracksuit bottoms, his hood up. He doesn't look like he cares. You know,
he's in a hoodie. He's just chilling. Yeah,
he just looks, really all right, I'm here again. I'm not working. It's non-uniform day at school. That kind of thing. And then he's interrupted by QT Marshall. And it's like, is this the feud we're doing? Like, he's feuding with Team Taz and QT Marshall, which means he's probably going to be feuding with Aaron Solo and Nick Comoroto. I felt like the way this guy debuted, it felt like a real big deal. And that this would be like a featured guy, and it's not coming across that way. And I think when you're signing these people so quickly, like there's a new hot signee every week, it can be very quick where you're kind of forgotten about and back of the line. And I'm seeing that every week with Keith Lee. So yeah, I can't say this really enthuses me at all.
Yeah, I like Keith Lee, but this was pretty bad. He just was chilling in a hoodie again. Like, he's just such an afterthought. Just didn't win the match. Nothing with where's Powerhouse Hobbs? I thought that was the feud.
They brought that up. They brought that up because that was QT's reason for talking to him. It's like we've both got an issue with Team Taz, but yeah, I don't think this feels like a distraction. Just Hobbs isn't doing anything else. Just like go to the at least not a match, but have an interaction or something here, like or have
my main a main thing that I find AEW, like, think about like the past literally since forever, that they put someone that is like huge and good and people are so into, but they kind of put them on the back burner until they strike, and then like they push them. So I think that's just, there's too many cooks going right now. Like, they just pulled the trigger on Wardlow into that TNT. They just pulled the trigger on someone else tonight for the title, which I think leads to like there's just no room to do that with Keith Lee at the same time. So that's why they just do this to keep him there, and then like one day, boom, he gets the opportunity, and then
I think it was a mistake putting him in the match. In that ladder match, I think you should have had him on the pre-show, doing just like he did with Isaiah Casti. You know, just throwing someone around, looking impressive, hitting his big power moves, and then maybe get attacked after by a Powerhouse Hobbs or whatever to set up the angle and have a bit of an angle at the pay-per-view and move that forwards as a bit of a program. Because, I just feel you had him have that one squash match. He kind of went 50-50 with JD Drake on Rampage, lost the ladder match, and other than that, it's just been chilling backstage in a hoodie and the character doesn't really seem too arsed about being there. And there's something just definitely not working, and I don't think QT Marshall helps that equation.
Shout out QT.
Shout out.
We go to he's great. We go to the Acclaimed. I can't get "Yo Listen" out of my head from JR. Yo, listen. So good.
Man.
The Acclaimed. No, that's Tony.
Yeah, I know.
man. We get the Acclaimed. They do a little rap here to go up against Jurassic Express for the AEW tag titles right here. But the Acclaimed have a little rap where Caster says that you can grow all this hair on your head, but your pubes won't grow. And then says, we're gonna be number one like Batman at the box office.
Yeah, he rhymed talking with office. Which,
It's real Eminem of him to try to do that. Isn't that what Eminem tries to always rhyme words that don't rhyme? But Max Caster, I don't think quite as Eminem.
Sometimes it can work if you like say it in the right way, but yeah, talking in office doesn't really have much.
Someone in the chat saying after the rap, Anna J tweeted and deleted a response saying false. I'm assuming about the pubes, but yeah, right. Great. TMI, Anna J, TMI.
Yeah, he said you haven't seen any boobs and stuff like that, right? Yeah.
Oh, right. these guys, like, first they were funny and they were way too crossing the line, and now they're just kind of soft. I thought this one was a little weak. Like, oh, we're gonna be number one like Batman. Like, you literally just picked something topical and got the most like.
Yeah, they talked about the gas prices lowering, like.
Yeah, like that's really.
I mean, Pete, have you not seen that people are like brawling over this?
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Fuck.
Blame Putin though for that, right?
Walk more. No, I'm just.
I mean, to be fair, this is walk more. Yeah, we like a good walk. To be fair, it can't be easy like coming up with a rap every single week and trying to keep it topical and stuff. And some are gonna hit, some aren't. I still appreciate it as an entrance. It is always a bit like, oh, what's he gonna say this week? And sometimes it's a bit okay. And Enzo was like that as well. Enzo sometimes had some really good lines, and other times you're like, all right.
Because, like, Max Caster wanted to come out here and rhyme the word dinosaur with, like, something. I don't know, whore or something, but he couldn't. But, like, probably it's not hard to make fun of a guy who dresses like Tarzan and has his pet dinosaur. But instead, he's like, yo, we're going to be number one like Batman at the box office. It's like, all right, cool, bro. Real nice. But yeah, a miss for me. I kind of like these guys, but the wrestling definitely hits though here, which I'm happy to see. The Acclaimed do get better every time in the ring.
They are good. Yeah, they are solid.
Yeah, for sure. Jurassic Express versus the Acclaimed. Jungle Boy goes for this like rope, his classic rope jump, arm drags, and all that stuff. They go to picture in picture, but then the Acclaimed tag in and out, beating down on Jungle Boy. When we come back, Luchasaurus is in. He's doing a huge thing. There's a Jungle Boy hitting a tope to the outside, which allows Luchasaurus to hit his choke slam and standing moonsault combo. The Acclaimed come back, though. They beat down on Jungle Boy again and hit the mic drop elbow to Jungle Boy, but he kicks out. There's then some, kerfuffle with the boombox, and Luchasaurus gets hit with it, but it was kind of weird because he's holding it and then they hit him. So it's like they hit the boombox into his face, but then he goes and drops down and is still holding the boombox. Yeah. And then finally he's like, why the fuck am I still holding this boombox? And then let's go with it. So the Acclaimed are back in the ring with Jungle Boy alone, and they hit this pretty sweet tag team move. I'm not sure if I've seen them hit this before. This is pretty sweet. I don't even know what to call it, but it's like an assisted, not quite a one-winged angel, but like the guy's upside down and you like drive the guy, helping the partner hit like a package driver kind of move. But Jungle Boy kicks out at like 2.9. This was a great kick out. The crowd ate it. I ate it. Luchasaurus is back in. He clears house. He gets one of them up with the electric chair. They hit that rope, like double rope jump assisted doomsday device.
Yeah.
And pick up the win. 1, 2, 3. Jurassic Express retain.
Yeah, I think Luchasaurus then he tail whip Caster off the
to the apron.
Yeah, good match. Again, it was kind of. I feel we've seen this recently. I don't know if we have, but I kind of feel like we have, and not really any stakes. I don't think anyone was really buying a title change here, but. Not bad little match, but can't say it's much I haven't seen recently a lot of.
Yeah. No, I still kind of got into it, especially towards the end. I do think these guys are pretty good wrestlers. And Jurassic Express off that hot tag match last Sunday, they got to be on a great roll. I feel like we could get some big matches from them now. I think we could go to FTR. I think we could go to some other teams. But now I'm instantly in the camp that thinks Regal's men. Are they going to be? What's the name for Mox and Danielson? Regal men. Real men. Real men. Just real men.
Men.
Yeah. I think those. Yeah, just men.
Men.
Men. I think the men should beat Jurassic Express.
Yeah, I do feel a bit sorry for Santana and Ortiz being caught up in this Jericho thing again. Like, I feel it's been about 2 years where we've been going, all right, well, it'll be Santana and Ortiz next. Like, they won that feud with FTR, and you go, oh, well, it's got to be Santana and Ortiz. And then they just went Lucha Brothers, Jurassic Express, like, for the titles. I really thought we were going to see Red Dragon win and move more to, like, a Santana Ortiz Red Dragon feud. But it does feel that way. I think you're going to have this Bryan and Moxley rack up a load of wins and possibly be next champions, because they definitely see the tag team with a lot of focus.
Yeah. Again, they have so many tag teams here, though. So like, I'm just happy to see different matchups and stuff. But yeah, I'm cool that Jurassic Express win. I do want to see. There are a bunch of teams I still want to see them face down the line. We go to our next. We go to a segment backstage. The TBS champion Jade with Smart Mark is here, and she says, "Who's next?" More like who's left, because Mark Sterling says, "You've beaten everyone, Jade. You've beaten." He lists off everyone, even Sky Blue, even Anna Jay, Ty Conti. Damn, she's beaten some heavy hitters. And Jade says, "Whoever could get steps to me next, well, you'll get that kiss of death." And because she's that bitch. So she's basically saying, "Look, I've beaten everybody. I don't know who the fuck else."
Who is there next?
I love how she's doing Goldberg's thing with the streak and everything. Who's next?
Yeah, so she said next is number 30, right? Her 30th match of the streak. I can't think. I honestly, I really can't think of many people there are. Although it is AE debut, there are people like Ember Moon out there, Nixon Newell. There are other women that could be signed. Ruby Soho could come back. I feel she's gone quite quiet. I know she's already had the match with Jade, but that's something you could go back to. It does feel slim pickings.
Yeah. Maybe they will bring in some new people. They brought in a lot of dudes. They should bring in some women.
What about there's Shida? Shida's been pretty quiet. Shida and Riho could do something with Jade, maybe.
For sure.
Emi Sakura.
Hey-o. Hell yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. Genie Pants? What was her? Shiny Pants? What was her?
Oh, Yuka Sakazaki.
Oh, yeah. Bring her back. She's great, too. We go to our next match, which is a number one contenders match for the AEW women's title, which means that next week they get to face Britt Baker. And it's Thunder Rosa, who just lost to Britt Baker on Sunday, versus Leyla Hirsch. So the winner of this next week, Britt Baker. There's strikes from Leyla early on, kind of going after Thunder here. A roll through counter. They're then fighting in the corner. There's a suplex from Leyla for a near fall. There's then Thunder, who runs at her with some clotheslines, and then a Northern Lights suplex, but Leyla kicks out of that. Hirsch comes back with a suplex of her own, a German there. And then they're countering each other's moves as Leyla goes for something, but in midair kind of turns it, or was Thunder countering it? I'm not sure. But Leyla eventually locks in an armbar, which then Thunder eventually gets out of. Leyla goes for something else, but that gets scouted as well and turned into the Fire Thunder driver, and Thunder Rosa beats
Leyla went to get the turnbuckle again.
Which
she used on Sunday. But Red Velvet showed up to kind of take it off of her, and then led to the Fire Thunder driver. I thought this match felt really slow.
Me too.
I preferred Layla's match with Statlander on the pre-show. Actually, it just felt a bit plodding, and I think both are a bit better than this. And I think it was very obvious with where next week's going to be that Rosa was going to win as well. Again, stakes. I didn't really feel there was much stakes here, but this didn't hit for me.
No, I agree. It felt like there was a spot where they were clotheslining each other, and it just felt really slow. And I wasn't a big fan of the Thunder Rosa Britt match last Sunday either. And then after this, Tony announces that it's next week in San Antonio, Texas is where they are next week. And I mean, Thunder Rosa's from Texas, and it's going to be a steel cage match. And Thunder's excited because, well, that means Reba and Hater won't be able to get involved because it's a steel cage, and we know they can never ever get involved if it's a steel cage.
To be fair with AEW, I mean, we've only had 2 cage matches, and we haven't had anyone come into the cage yet. You did have Brandon Cutler throw in some shoes, but but apart from that, I think they do try and keep that to go back a bit more old school where you can't get in. It's a bit of a higher cage as well. Yeah, I'm with you. The match didn't hit for me on Sunday. I haven't gone back to watch it back, so it was late in the show, and it was after that MJF Punk match, so I think there was some fatigue as well when I watched it. But I feel they've got their work cut out for them. Obviously, it's a year ago since their match that everyone was raving about, and I loved last year. And this whole story recently has been a bit disappointing, but I think this will probably go on last, I imagine, next week. You should have a hot San Antonio crowd really behind Thunder Rosa, which I think the crowd at Revolution were a bit flat by that point. And it's a first as well, the first women's cage match. So I think this could turn things around, and I think you could get that big Thunder Rosa win next week.
Yeah, I think so too. I've definitely changed my tune, especially we kind of scouted that they wouldn't probably do this, especially if it's in our hometown. But I didn't like that Brit match too much on Sunday, and I didn't like this one either. So I hope they can kind of get that magic back from last year, literally a year ago, the St. Patrick's
Just get
Slam.
some thumbtacks in the cage, and like it will be good. I think
they'll do it. They will for sure. We go to Britt Baker cuts a promo backstage now and says, "You think you actually have a shot? Don't forget, I beat you on Sunday. And well, I have Reba, I have Hayter, but you won't have Mercedes. And Mercedes is going to face Hayter on Rampage." And Britt says, "There's no way, Thunder Rosa, I would let some carny riffraff like you become champion. Yeah, a year ago, you got the pin. But who really won? Everyone knows it's yours truly, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD." I know we criticize WWE and NXT and all that for the piped in noises, but they definitely pipe in the DMD, right?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
It's
like the crowd,
it's really over.
It is over. Yeah.
Just sounds always super loud when everything else is kind of chilling. But yeah, Britt versus Thunder next week. Yeah. Main event though, TNT title match. Sammy Guevara, the champion, defending against Scorpio Sky, and Sammy, I guess, didn't realize what was happening earlier because he didn't come out for that Inner Circle beatdown or breakup pretty much at all.
Yeah, they were saying he was wearing a vest, but it wasn't the Inner Circle vest either. It just said Sammy Guevara.
He's like, Jericho beat up those guys? He
had left, hadn't he? The other week. He was like, you know what? Yeah. You guys sort your shit out. I'm out of here.
Yeah. So now he's just with Ty Conti instead. Sammy versus Scorpio. Scorpio's got Ethan Page ringside and Dan Lambert as well. We get Scorpio and Sammy going back and forth when Sammy hits his patented like dodges and the crazy backflip. Some of those I don't know how he does. Lambert's getting involved. He helps set up a table when Sammy puts Scorpio Sky, counters and kicks him in the face with a super kick and puts him on the table, climbs to the top rope. Mind you, this table's on the outside, jumps off and hits the 630 senton, but Scorpio in the last second gets out of the way. And this was crazy. This was like Sonic the Hedgehog spinning and then falling right through the table with nobody there. This is when Ty Conti comes out and checks on him during picture in picture. And I mean, what a great way to get this over, like that he's so hurt. Tay is there, the doctors are there.
I feel Sammy Guevara does this in every TV main event. He's always injured during picture in picture, and they just don't decide to count him out. I mean, the spot was nuts, but I'm starting to think he's just a real idiot. This is your title, and the match has barely even started. You've barely like locked up, and you're like, right, better get the table out and do something crazy. Like wear him down a bit first, Like, yeah.
So they come back and they're walking him out, him, Tay, and the doctors and the ref, and then he's like, no, I gotta keep fighting. So he goes back in, and this is when Sky is attacking him here. We get Paige Van Zant, who's ringside with her hubby. She's getting in the face of Tay. She's yelling at her, which kind of teases some tension. When Sammy's back in the ring, he gets a roll up on Scorpio for a big reaction from the crowd for a near fall. And then Scorpio is putting the boots to him, but Sammy fights back, eventually hits this double jumping springboard cutter, the Sammy cutter or whatever, gets a kick out on that because he couldn't capitalize. and then eventually hits the GTH on Sky, but Sky just manages to roll away from selling the move. This is when Ethan Page gets up on the apron and starts like distracting and yelling at Sammy, when Taynara pulls him off the apron and starts yelling at him, when Paige Van Zant jumps the barricade and gets involved and attacks Tay from behind Ty and beats her up, which Sammy in the middle of the ring is looking at this, and he gets distracted when he turns around and he's hit by the TKO from Scorpio Sky. And 1, 2, 3, the new TNT champion, Scorpio Sky. You know it's official when the TNT Twitter changes their bio to Scorpio Sky is our champion. They always change it, whoever wins.
And afterwards, they sign, Paige Van Zant signs her AEW contract on the bodies of Sammy and Ty.
On the bum of Tay.
On the bum of Ty, yeah. Yeah, I kind of feel a few mixed feelings about this. I kind of feel it was a good move having Scorpio win, because after time, these guys have lost every single feud, right? Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, and it's going to get to a point where you don't take them seriously at all, because you go, well, you're going to go and you're going to lose again. It was unexpected, and I think it at least puts a little bit of legitimacy to their group. But I feel like I haven't seen Scorpio Sky for months. You know, if you're just watching Dynamite, like, I haven't seen this dude forever. So it did feel a bit of a cold challenger, and I do expect it to just be a transitional champion to get it onto Wardlow. I think this is setting up a feud, the tag with Sammy and Ty against, what would it be, Paige and Scorpio, or Paige and Paige even. So I feel Wardlow's walking out next week with the TNT title. And I just think Sammy looks like a bit of an idiot doing this spot all the time and just hurting himself. It's spectacular, but it's happening every match, where it's going to soon not feel as spectacular when he's doing it. And you're just going to go, well, you just seem like an idiot. You just threw away your title. Like, you completely deserve to lose this thing.
Yeah, I think he had some great matches. He's had some bangers in AEW, especially on Dynamite, and he's had some great stuff. And I think he's amazing, and he'll continue to impress. I do like the title change. I do think it spices things up and instantly can make certain things different, interesting, and all that stuff, because there's so many different people that you could put in the TNT title picture, like, instantly right away. I think MJF screws Wardlow next week and Sky holds it for a little bit. You could have him and Sammy still feud it, but it would be cooler if Wardlow won it, because then again, like, then it opens the door. MJF could beat him for it. Someone else could beat him for, like, there's lots of things you could go around. Obviously, Taynara and Sammy versus Paige or Sky with Paige Van Zant as well. So there's some different things, but you could have Fuego and Sammy and Ty versus Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, and Paige Van Zant.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, something like that. Or her husband as well as, like, a fighter. I'm not sure if he's gonna wrestle, but yeah. I'm okay with and Scorpio Sky getting a title here. He was the champion before. He was tag team champion. Now he's a solo.
He's the first tag champ. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's awesome. It's cool to see that as well. So it opens they could do this, they could do that with title changes, especially this title is a pretty cool title.
It does make with this title, it makes all these open challenges thinking anyone can win it at any time, and it can, like our criticisms with a Keith Lee or something, you can automatically put a rocket to someone. You kind of saw it with Sammy, to be honest. He was kind of floating around doing nothing for a bit, and then they just put him in this picture. So I think it is good to condition your audience to, think anyone at any point could win this thing. Unlike a world championship where you go, well, someone's going to have a run, and then it's going to be on the big stage where something happens.
Right.
The match didn't. I think that because so much of it was this injury, it did kind of take me out of the match, and then you're just going to all the shenanigans at the end. I think these two, if they just kind of wrestled would actually have a way better match. It felt a little messy, as did the whole show, to be honest. I think there was a lot of like important stuff that happened. We're setting up, the next chapter of AEW. We've just had our big pay-per-view. We're setting up the build for all the stories that are going to culminate at Double or Nothing and over the next few weeks. But it felt really messy, I thought, tonight. There was just a lot happening, and I didn't think really any of the wrestling overly hit for me today.
For wrestling, what was the best match? I mean, yeah, you kind of got to see some cool stuff, but like I said, I didn't get that match I thought I was going to get with Mox and not saying like them squashing them didn't make sense, because it does, but I was expecting like somewhat of a, like, it was just a showcase for them to get their stuff in, essentially. But I don't get me wrong, I actually really enjoyed this episode, but I see what you mean. It was like a little all over the place. Dynamite seems to be that way, and maybe that's part of the reason why I like it a lot, because it does feel like almost like what would happen if an indie show did have a lot of money. Well, that's what this feels like all the time.
I never feel like my time's been wasted.
Yeah,
like,
it's always entertaining.
There are some episodes of other shows where you go, well, what happened today? You didn't really miss much. Like, a lot happened, the Jericho turn, the Jeff Hardy debut, the Tully being fired, a title change, a signing of Paige Van Zandt. A lot happened. It was a very newsworthy show. But sometimes I think they get the flow really nicely in these shows. And I felt it just felt really frantic this week.
They have announced matches for Rampage: Jamie Hayter, Mercedes Martinez, Darby versus Mark Quinn, QT Keith Lee, Swerve versus Tony Nese, and then next week for the St. Patrick's Day Slam, Britt and Thunder, and then Wardlow and Scorpio Sky. So I mean, like, there's some I'm sure. Oh, and that 6-man next week as well. So I mean, there'll be some good stuff next week coming for sure. And I'm seeing that the Hardy Boyz show up on Rampage. It looks like Siino sent me a picture, and it looks like they can't use the name of the Hardy Boyz, so they call themselves the Hardys. So I mean, hey,
what were they? I guess TNA?
Just the Hardys.
Were they just the Hardys? Okay.
I guess they can't use the Hardy Boyz. That's odd. I mean, hey, fuck it, it's the same name, but yeah, the Hardys. And they're wearing their shirts.
Lovely.
I can't wait to see Matt in it.
We need Michael Hayes to be released just to complete the package, don't we? Like, Terry, if we're talking about one more run, yeah, get Terry back. Get Michael Hayes back. Gangrel's kicking around. Get him in there as well.
Yeah. I just love that they got the music. That's such a little thing, but so funny. Yeah, I enjoyed this week's Dynamite. It's always a crazy show to watch. It's great. Well, we'll talk all about that show next week as well. But thank you guys for listening and checking us out, talking about all this wrestling. You're going to be away for next week?
I'll be away. Yeah, it's my mum's birthday, so I'll be celebrating that next Tuesday.
Happy birthday, Davie's mom. And so I'm going to be joined by John Siino Evil. He's going to explain all the names of wrestlers I don't know. I can't wait to chat a little bit with him next week. So that'll be great. But you will be back for Dynamite, for BDE.
Back for Dynamite, yeah.
Yeah. So you want to hear more of the BDE, you can check us out on patreon.com/upNXT. Like we mentioned, we got our Servant of the People review. We watched the first 3 episodes of that show, and then we also have a best match ever, Rick Steiner. I'm going to go put that up right now for you patrons, actually, so go check that out. Happy belated birthday to Rick Steiner, and happy birthday to John Pollock as well. So
it's Rick Steiner's birthday today, so him and John Pollock share a birthday. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was his birthday today. I would have put the show. I think I should have put it up today, but we're gonna put it up tomorrow. So happy birthday, Rick Steiner, and happy birthday, John Pollock. One day we'll do a best match ever, John Pollock.
Yeah.
But go check us out, because we got all these other shows out there, retro NXT reviews, all the best matches ever, and everything. And I mean, well, it's St. Patrick's Day next week. Does that mean we're also reviewing Leprechaun?
It does mean we're reviewing Leprechaun. Yeah, Leprechaun 2.
Oh my God.
Does it have a colon? Is it Leprechaun 2?
Leprechaun 2, not Leprechaun in the Hood.
Not yet. No, that'll be a few years away.
Yeah, we decided every St. Patrick's Day we're going to review a Leprechaun movie, so we're doing that.
Okay, it's just called Leprechaun 2. A leprechaun surfaces in Los Angeles to claim a bride, as his previous object of affection was denied him 1,000 years before in Ireland. He kidnaps teenage Bridget, Siobhan Durkin, grotesquely murdering anyone who gets in his way. It's going to be great.
Leprechaun 2, Bride of Leprechaun.
Yes.
That's what it sounds like. So get your feedback in. We'll put that up on the feedback threads on the weekend. But yeah, go watch Leprechaun 2. I don't know how I'm going to find Leprechaun 2, but we will. So all the different reviews and podcasts out there on the Patreon. And of course, every Tuesday night, twitch.tv/upnext podcast, and Wednesday nights for both our shows. We record these live on Twitch. And we appreciate you guys. And go buy W.H. Park's shirt. That Eddie Kingston rock today. That's so badass, man. When I saw WH the other week, I walked in and I said, he didn't see me yet. And I said, excuse me, sir, I'm looking for Eddie Kingston's favorite podcaster. And he turned around and looked at me. He's like,
he's going to be awful after this, isn't he?
He's going to go to his head.
He's going to be so smug after this.
Yeah, he was already smug.
He's going to be unbearable.
For no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fuck it. Don't buy his shirt. Buy one of our shirts.
No, someone's just got to tell Eddie Kingston that WH actually hates Eddie Kingston and AEW. Yeah. It's ironic. Yeah. Well, that's it, guys. Follow us on the Facebook group and the Twitter at upNXT Podcast if you haven't already. And I myself, Braden Herrington, I'm on Twitter and I'm on Instagram. I'm at the Brady.
And I'm at Davie Portman. And if you're watching this on YouTube, remember, hit the like and subscribe button as well.
Yeah. Hey, guys, every little thing, every little download and subscription, all these things to all these apps and nice little reviews on Apple Podcasts, they all do us wonders. So thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you. And that's it. That's all. Take care. Goodbye. Be safe. And I'll never get the image of, oh no, Jeff Hardy's here. He's going to save his brother. But wait, first, I got to dance.
Ahoy!
First time in a long time, but it seems like just yesterday when we were side by side. Beast mode, no one's blocking our way. These other guys tried it, but them man ain't got the skills of Braden and Davie, brazen and raging, bringing you the thrills and spills. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady, DVP, the BDElite. Right here in full gear, about to blow up like TNT. Us man are too sweet, Brady, DVP, the BDElite.